Good morning, Year 9. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. My name is Miss Shabazi and I am the head of the Social Sciences Department, and I'm here to talk to you about something very exciting. From September, we will be introducing sociology at GCSE level. Now, some of you may never have come across this course before and you have no idea what it is, whereas some of you might have heard about it before from your siblings or your parents. What I would like you to do as a form is to take a minute to look at the pictures on the board and discuss what you think sociology is about based on the images that I have shared with you on the board. I hope you enjoyed your class discussions and were able to share your ideas. I'm sure you got some brilliant ones. So sociology is actually the scientific study of society. And to put it simply, sociologists are researchers who want to understand how society works, how the institutions impact us, and how they can actually have a massive impact on our life chances and opportunities. They focus particularly on our social characteristics, such as our social class, our age, our gender and ethnicity, and they investigate whether or not these characteristics impact our opportunities and our life chances. On the last slide, I mentioned institutions a few times. You're probably thinking, what is an institution? Well, institutions are really important in our society. They are formal structures that help us to understand the norms and values that we should have and essentially how we should behave. For example, in the education system, you are taught a number of different skills, not just for the workplace in your future life, but also how to behave in public. Another really important institution is the criminal justice system, and I'm going to be using this as an example to give you an idea of the kinds of things that we cover in sociology. As I'm sure you're aware, some groups are much more likely to be labelled and treated like criminals than others. Now, that begs the question, are these groups actually just more criminal, or are there other factors at play? One group in particular that is more likely to be labelled as criminal is actually young people, so that includes you guys. Sociologists are interested in understanding why this may be the case. Are young people actually more criminal, or in reality is there something else going on? If we look at the graph, we can see that knife crime is on the rise in England and Wales. Now, this isn't looking at who has actually committed those acts. However, if you go off the news or you actually look into the statistics a little bit further, we can see that most knife crime, in London particularly, is committed by young people. Now, why could this be the case? Is it simply because young people are more bored, or they have less opportunities available to them to maybe keep them indoors or keep them busy? Could this be an explanation? Now, some people do argue that this is the case. However, what other people that are bored? Does everyone that's bored commit crime? No, so there could be other reasons. Another possible explanation could be to do with more of a structural issue, such as poverty. In the UK, we have a staggering rise in unemployment and poverty. More and more young people and children are living in poverty, and this could easily have a direct impact on the number of crimes that are being committed by people. Maybe not necessarily on violent crimes, what about other acts of crime such as theft? Sociological research into the growth of single-parent households has also been interesting and begged the question on, actually, could it be because of a lack of role models? Role models could include parents or it include other family members. However, as we know, the growth of media has led to a lot of people looking up to people that they wouldn't necessarily have ever met before. So could this also be an explanation? When analysing some of the issues that we just discussed, sociologists actually go back to a few of the founding fathers and mothers, should we say, of sociology. We have to analyse these things from different sociological perspectives, and these perspectives include Marxism, functionalism, feminism, and postmodernism. Within sociology, we analyse these sociological perspectives and apply them to different areas of society. We use these sociological perspectives to analyse different areas of our society, and some of these are institutions that I mentioned earlier. So the first topic that we look at is families. We analyse the impact that families have on us, the different types of families and households that we now have in our society, and not only how they impact us as individuals, but also how the institution of the family is really important in structuring wider society. Once we finish with the families unit, we look at the education system. This one's really interesting for a lot of students because they're able to actually think about how their everyday education can have an impact on their lives, and they start to question things that they maybe have never questioned before. We then move on to crime and deviance, and we look at why some groups, like I mentioned earlier, commit crime, or why some groups are actually more likely to be victims of crime, before finally finishing off on social stratification, which is inequality. So we look at how society is stratified in a way that maybe leads to some groups facing inequality, whereas other groups are more likely to succeed, particularly within the economic field. As a sociology student, I want you to experience what it's really like to be a sociologist. So at the end of year 10, you are actually given the task of becoming a real sociologist, and you investigate a subject area of your choice using a research method that I have taught you in the course. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it and it gave you an insight into what Sociology GCSE entails. I'm looking forward to meeting many of you at Options Evening. At Options Evening, I will spend some more time going through the exam structure and the structure of the course with you. I want to leave you with the careers options on the board so you can spend some time looking at the different fields of work that students who study sociology go into. Once you're done with this, there are a couple slides that I've included in my presentation that your tutors can go through with you if you have any time, asking some more sociological questions like we did with the crime and deviance example. Have a lovely day, and I hope to meet you soon.